My name is Jake, and I'm a CSU Ram. We're living in some crazy times in America right now. With the outbreak of COVID-19, life has been drastically changed for all of us. Similarly, with America, we at Colorado State University are going through a major shift in our school's climate. This could possibly go down in our history books for generations to come. We are at a time of war with an invisible enemy, and we're all doing our part. This isn't the first time our nation or our school has participated in a global crisis such as this. Back in 1941, when CSU was known as Colorado Agriculture and Mechanic Arts, lives would be changed forever, requiring everyone to do their part in a time of need. This is where America united to fight the Axis powers, and when every aspect of life was affected. This is where America united to fight the Axis powers, and when every aspect of life was affected, during and after the war. Prior to America's involvement in World War II, male students at Colorado A&M were subject to ROTC enrollment starting in 1930. As long as they were physically fit, they can serve. The ROTC, or Reserves Officer Training Corps, is a U.S. military program within our colleges. The program was created to train future leaders and to set the cadets up for success in their military careers after higher education. It is optional today, but back then it was mandatory for all able-bodied males. This mandatory service allowed Colorado A&M to be ready as the tensions continued overseas. Along with manpower, A&M also provided the education and housing for trainees. Our college took serious steps to ensure we all did our part during this massive conflict. Similarly, of how our school responded to the growing threat of COVID-19. As we conduct research to the disease and we're willing to distance ourselves to ease demand, A&M switched gears into a military education and production facility as a whole. Life was drastically changed as the college community merged with military demands. When male students were required to register for the draft, the school canceled classes. Sports activities were suspended for training, and facilities like our old gym were used as training bays. Johnson Hall was transformed into a barracks, and the college field house into a dining hall. A&M ended up looking like a military camp instead of a college. CSU has a history of working with the military, being a land-grant college, but has never seen effort quite like this before. Many lives of cadets and cadre were changed, the most famous of which is Glenn Morris, breaking records during the 1936 Olympic Games in Germany. Glenn graduated in 1941, leaving him to fight as a naval officer. Stuart Case also graduated in 1941, leaving him to fight in the Pacific as an Army officer. Major Ralph Giddings wasn't a cadet, however. He was already serving in the Army until he was called back to Fort Collins to serve at A&M, becoming an instructor to more cadre and draftees that trained at A&M. He then later fought in the Pacific and thankfully made it home safely, along with Glenn and Stuart. But even after the war, life could never truly be normal. The GI Bill was introduced to veterans and their families after the war. This created a surge in applicants and a larger demand for housing. Many lived in what was known as Veterans Village and was down the road from the Diversity House. Living was crowded, old traditions were challenged or lost, and sadly, a lot of students were going through personal and family issues. College life was never the same after the war. When a huge world event happens, it's hard to say what can be expected when things go back to normal. Who's to know how college life will be after this? After World War II ended, our culture was shifted to a more militaristic one. After this pandemic, it makes me wonder if we'll be a more medically aware community, and if our attendance will drop significantly. Only time will tell, but our community is never shy of a challenge, and I'm proud to be a CSU Ram. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, everyone.